Ready, set, go. All right. These are the key things you need to get done before this mega expert that's so important. So let's go. Number one, do you have GChat? Yes, chat.google.com. This is where I send a lot of info. Look, just in one day, all the steps that you need to do with videos, right? Sometimes entertainment, but this is all the information giving you tips, suggestions, you name it. And guess what? 24/7 in individual Google Chat. You can ask me some questions. So it's so important. Now, Spaces is just information to give to all of my wonderful students on my caseload. So please make sure to add it onto your phone, make an account with your SI email account. It's already there, it's free, it's ready to go. So make sure to take advantage of that. That is the number one way for students to contact me through is through GChat, individually here, and then here will be tips and resources for you on Spaces and have categories for you here. Okay, what other resources do you need to have? Do you have SI College Counseling YouTube? Why aren't you using all these 89 videos? There's already 102 subscribers. Look at all these different playlists that's available, whether it's just wisdom, being a senior, college interview, scholarship, biggest mistakes for UC, CSUs. It goes on and on and on. So make sure to check that out. Some wonderful resources for you that give you visual aids. It's so important. Okay, what else is available for you? Also, wherever you stream, Spotify, you name it, here are almost 80 podcast episodes, interviewing colleges, how to brainstorm. Yes, the list goes on and on. Statements from students, how to prepare for interviews, affording colleges, you name it, we've almost done it. All about college resources. So here they are. Okay. Also, don't forget PowerSchool. You need to make sure that your demographic information, your name, your date of birth, your phone number is all up to date. Please provide your mobile number. You never know if we need to get a hold of you. And let's see what you've done. So you should already have done the instructions on the FERPA and logged on to SCORE. Please go to the app.score.com desktop version. You get a lot more resources. And a little suggestion here about tips. Be careful if there's someone that does do some college essay thing for free, because it takes away your authentic voice. I cannot tell you how much the word authenticity is used over and over. You know, I mean, even if you use AI, okay, brainstorming is okay. Brainstorming with a friend's okay. Brainstorming with a teacher, me, great, right? Those are all resources that know you and can help you, but you really need to have your authentic voice. Don't believe me, just look at those podcasts, those YouTube channels. Those are the best way. And just start writing. Marriage is one variable. Now, hopefully you already have some colleges on your list, but if you have some colleges on your list, you have to do this one button here called Update Application Intention. So make sure that you click on that. Remember, everyone's applying through Common App, unless the only resource like UC and Cal State's is college website. Put that Common App ID number, and then if they offer early action, cannot recommend it, do it. There are a lot of schools like Gonzaga, UC, Cal State that only have regular decision. Remember, ED and is binding. Also, ED2 is binding, and REA is restrictive. So remember that, see me if you have questions. Remember, majority of all colleges are test optional or test free. So if you're not sending any scores or don't have any scores, focus on what makes you great. You will not get penalized from those schools. Remember, there's over 800. Go to fairtest.org to find out who they are. Check the website. And here is the box you put, hey, I'm going test optional. You have to answer this question for every school. So once you click on save, for each of your finalized college lists, boom, it gets on the top. There's that decision. Now, remember, for just some quick resources and information, remember this scattergram, you want to use the latest information to see from the previous class, hey, am I on target, right? Is this a likely school? Would it be more possible or is it challenge? Remember, it needs to be a campus that you like, and then also that your family likes the price tag. Do know financial aid forms are changing a lot, especially for FAFSA only schools. Gonzaga is one of those schools. And also you could click on here to look at this other information. You can see who submitted test scores, who didn't. So if they say yes, they were test optional, this gives you a guide, of what some students have done. You can see, look how many people were test optional, still got in for this campus. So do know this is all self-reported information. These are all SI students. You definitely want to look at this information. So for this student, if you're in this range, and if you're not submitting test scores, don't worry about it. But then this means this school may be on the reach style for you, right? So you want to make sure you have that range. Remember, I need 4 to 5 likely schools. Here I also give you suggestions of other schools that other SI students have also applied to as well. Okay, now when you look here, it also will show you everything that has been done for you. And then also there it will be other things that will give you tips what to do. So again, you need to put Common App. Are you doing early decision? Do know there's extra forms you have to fill out. Again, are you going test optional? Save that information. You click on save, yay. And then when you go on here, these are other information that it will tell you, like, look, oh, you should apply November 1st. Look, I'm applying regular decision. But sometimes there's earlier deadlines. USC does this too for scholarship consideration. Boston University does. So you may have to apply to school early. We got that. Now, SCORE is a great guide for you, telling you the coming letter recommendations that they'll take. But remember, it's not the end-all, do-all. So check the website, especially for financial aid. Every school is going to change. Check it. Make sure it says it's ready for 24-25. And this will show you all the activity, what's been sent here. And then once you submit your application, yeah, you can submit if it's amazing and wonderful and you've done all the steps. Do know that you can put down here, mark as applied. See how that looks? I mark it as apply. I save it. And then boom, it goes over here. Most people will not be here until in October. So please make sure that this is a finalized list that's balanced. Why is that? Well, I'm going to show you why. Because when you go into me, view profile, make sure this is all accurate information. We already talked to you about making sure your activities are on there, filling out all your surveys. We've been told a million times how to do that. So please make sure to follow up on that. And also put those teacher requests from your teachers. If you're saying, what do you mean put teacher requests? Let's go back. It's always good for everyone. So remember, here are the surveys that you need to fill out for all your teachers, etc. But here, you should have already requested your teacher's letter recommendation under the screen. So again, you're going to find them. So I even forget sometimes where the recommendation things, because there's a lot to remember. So do know we're here together to learn that. So on the app, it's under application documents, but if you click right here, that's your application documents. Make sure you have your teacher recommendation, put down the fee waiver request, if you are eligible or Sobrino students. And then also make sure that that's all taken care of. Make sure you don't just put a request, ask your teacher in person, follow all the required steps that they need to do. This is review for you for college application, so make sure. And I do know sometimes some of you guys are so like, wait, oh my God, to finalize this because it's all due by September 11th, ideally beforehand, is because then go back to, your following, go back into your suggested, but make sure that you're considering schools that meet your needs. And don't forget, when you go here to, for example, view college profile, and you go here, a lot of times they'll give you other suggestions of where other students have looked at that are very similar to Gonzaga's, where it's similar in what other students have liked. So this may help you. Hey, you got a scheduled appointment. Let's just meet. Let's get this done. The sooner you can finalize your college list, the sooner you get all these little steps done, the sooner you can make a to-do list for each of the schools. It is a lot, even if you're just applying to one school. Yeah, did you hear me say that? It is a lot if you're applying to one school. Okay. So again, you should put your teacher recommendation, put your finalized college list, indicate, how you're applying to each school. So you will need to update. This is not sufficient enough on here. And then what you're going to need to do is on all this list, you're going to go again to view your drive, and then you go right. So here's your drive. Now you have part 2. So under part 2, as a PDF, and you're like, I did this already. Well, it's a little bit different on here. So the key thing here for this PDF, which I believe I got the wrong one. Oh, I did. See, I'm glad I made this mistake. It was intentional. You want to make sure it's a 24/25, right? So make sure that is the correct date on there. And you see that this is an old one. Excuse me, 23/24. I'm not sure why it's labeled like that, but it's 23/24. So it's not just due to fill out, it's due to fill out and do these steps. So everything needs to match. Your name, your teacher's name, and the request needs to be on there, and surveys completed. Here's all your little checklists. It's not complete until this is done. Circle the UCs, do not write them here. Circle the Cal States, do not write them here. And remember, majority of all the UCs and popular Cal States are challenge schools. So pretend if you don't get in, and if you feel that you're going to be sad about it, put a likely UC and Cal State. For the UCs, it's mainly Merced and Riverside, except for engineering. Engineering got impacted last year. Indicate if you're going to take the test or not. That needs to match score. If you are getting recruited, you will need to fill out this additional form. I'll show you at the end where that is. And ED and extra steps. And there's a YouTube video on those extra steps, both on Common App and on Score. Like I told you, there's a lot. Indicate how you're applying for every other school. We don't need it for Cal State or UCs. List your schools, preferably by deadline. What major? Yeah, you may put undecided for one school, chemistry for another school, and then nursing for another one, and they're all challenged. So sometimes the major impacts, if it's a likely challenge or possible school. One is your deadline, and then if you're going to take the SAT or ACT, right? If not, just put NA, right? Why deal with the headache if that doesn't make you shine? And then here, families, we need your parent or guardians to confirm that you are responsible for setting test scores. If you have any, don't worry about APs. That happens in July. If you're senior year, yes, I'm not kidding. You can just self-report it. Families, make sure you talk about the financial option. Just know net price calculator is not updated yet because of all the new FAFSA changes, but check out My Intuition. It's a great resource for a lot of schools that meet full need. So it's a good guide for families about that. Do know that there's a lot of changes. So keep up to date for FAFSA will come out somewhere in July, but after that will always be starting in 24-25 school year. It should be back in October 1st, just like CSS Profile. There's about over 400 colleges using it. If you don't need to apply for financial aid, check that off. But remember, scholarships are still available. You saw some of those scholarships that I just showed you for Boston College, but they have extra applications, maybe extra deadlines. The students, you need to sign this electronically or on paper. Parents, guardian, you need to do the same. But if you do it on paper, you have to then scan it or upload it and check if you can. I can see a lot of you guys didn't check if it was viewable or not into SCORE. Students come during drop-in times, long period dates, first 30 minutes, Mondays and Tuesdays, and then at 8:30 a.m. before school. Sometimes I'm there even earlier if I don't have an appointment requested. Okay, so I did promise you to show you the other two forms. So if I go look at the other two forms, let's look here at senior documents, right? So these are other planning terms, application guides. Here is this SI application. So you have to fill out not only the SCORE ED agreement, about the steps for also on Common App for ED for you and the parent, but you also have to do SIs, and that's to be uploaded in SCORE. Athletes is another form that you need to fill out. Don't forget doing NCAA, especially for Division I, Division II schools. Are you done yet? Oh no, of course not. We have more to do. So remember, Common App you could download on your phone. There's also a desktop that you could do. Over 1,000 colleges use that. A lot of resources, good general information about financial aid, but again, check the college's website, especially this year, the year of all changes. And then let's go on here. Make sure you add on a school. Yes, now you can add all those schools on there. You want to click on, hey, when I'm applying to the school, what is my deadline, right? For this application. So maybe you want to start in September. You're not a transfer student. Hey, I'm going to do regular decision, right? Now, if I just do that, I'm like, oh, I got preoccupied. Press continue. It's not complete. It won't have that green check that you saw here, but it's done. And then if you go back to your dashboard right over here, then you'll see these deadline dates, and you get to see all this other information to do. So really good, helpful tools that the colleges prompt students what to do. And then what you're going to do is go here. Another great resource for researching for those campus-specific questions, doing virtual tours. If you couldn't visit in person, please email your reps for a private school why you weren't able, and then ask them some other questions. Here are such important information. Majority of students don't read. I am telling you, read. This is the year to read. A lot of people say it's just write, but it's read. Now, here you can do the FERPA form, but you can't do the FERPA if you didn't go ahead and add in our school. So make sure you put St. Ignatius. So you guys start August of 2020. No, we're not boarding school. Yes, you'll graduate in May 2024. And then those are the key thing minimum. Remember, press continue. So then you go back here, go to this section here, and then here you go. You are going to do the FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Act, Protection Act, where you're saying, hey, I'm giving you all my confidential information, you colleges, you recommender, it's okay. I will have to waive my right to give more weight and to receive those letter recommendations to be delivered through SCORE only. But I have to put this FERPA right here. Not only, remember, we already did it on SCORE. Now we have to do it here on Common App. Press the understand, put the name, the date you've done it, save and close, right? I already did it. So make sure that you indicate that. And then you'll get this green check. Now, what you're going to do here for inviting recommenders, you're going to add in my information. Do not use me as an advisor. I don't know why and the reason why it's offline, because I did not use my email. What am I talking about? So if I'm going to invite somebody, I'm going to leave this blank, put the subject of the teacher. So let's say I pick math, and then I put their first name. Notice I'm only filling out the asterisks, right? Let's say I put in, yes, spell it correctly. Yes, I want my math teacher, write my letter rec, put invite, boom, it's on there, okay? And it's on score, right? And then when you pick your second teacher, right, boom, you put it on there and then click on assign, right? If a colleges allow other recommenders, this is someone else to brag about you, make sure it has to be a different layer of information. Make sure it's someone that's outside the community. And then what you would do here, if I want to invite them now, I'm going to add in their email, right? So maybe lee@gmail.com, put the relationship to you, first name, last name. They're going to send their letter of information through Common App, but SI is not responsible for that. Keep in mind, you will need to do this for every school. Don't believe me? Well, see, this is done already for FERPA. Counselor's already done. Oh, I didn't do this. So I would need to do at least the minimum. Make sure you pick a teacher on there, and then it's optional to do the other recommender if the school offers it. But here at Howard University, they do. This warning sign will always be there. Don't worry about it. And then there are other YouTube videos, podcasts on this, but I went way over. Look how much you have to do, but this is a resource, what to do before X period. Oh my God, I missed it. I didn't ask the question. Don't forget drop-in times. Don't forget we're here to do it together. Don't forget there's all these resources. Not only am I here virtually, I'm here electronically. You're hearing my voice right now. You also can see me in person. Let's get this done. Let's get together. Let's move onward and upward together, and let's be supportive to all our neighbors, okay? So key, so important. Balanced list, balanced class schedule, balanced life makes a balanced world. Thanks, guys.